Well, it's time again for another cooking class out in the desert on the back of my 2006 Corolla. And today I'm going to show you how to make homemade tomato soup using a propane stove. No need to have canned tomato soup when you can make your own. So what you're going to need for the homemade tomato soup is one yellow onion that you've diced, like I did here. Use yellow onions, don't use the white ones or the red ones because they're not as sweet as the yellow ones are. You're going to need a 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. It has to be crushed, not diced, or I think they have what they call pureed tomatoes. It's got to be crushed tomatoes, a 15-ounce can, some red pepper flakes, some olive oil, 3 cloves of garlic. Now I use the minced garlic that comes in a jar, and 1 teaspoon of the minced garlic that's already minced. That equals 1 clove. So I got my 3 cloves of garlic right there, already minced. 3/4 a cup of water, and some salt and pepper. And there's another ingredient called Creme Fraiche, which is in the cooler. That goes in last, and I'll explain that later, what that is and why it's in the cooler. So let's get started. Love this view out here. First, you heat a drizzle of olive oil in your saucepan until it gets hot. Then you're going to add the onions that you've already diced and the 3 cloves of garlic to the hot oil, and stir those and let them cook for about 2 to 3 minutes, or until the onion gets softened. So let's do that now. Let's add the onions and the garlic. So you cook the garlic and the diced onions for about 2 to 3 minutes in the oil until the onions get tender. It might take a little bit longer depending on your stove and how much heat you have, but yeah, let's let those cook and until the onions get tender. So once your onions are softened and kind of fragrant, after about 3 minutes or so, you add to the pot the can of crushed tomatoes, like that. The 3/4 cup of water goes in next, like that. And as much of the crushed red pepper flakes that you like. This gives the soup a little bit of heat. I like things spicy, so I tend to use a lot, but just use your own judgment on that with the red pepper flakes. And a little bit of salt and pepper, just a little. And here's the pepper. And stir that and let it cook for about 8 to 9 minutes, or until it gets reduced in volume by about 1/4. And that's pretty much it. Just let that cook. Don't have the heat too high, obviously. Kind of like a medium heat. And that's pretty much it. The last step, after the soup has cooked for about 8 or 9 minutes and has reduced by about 1/4 in volume, we'll add the creme fraiche. It's a French cream. It's kind of like sour cream, but it's a little more decadent, and you add some of that to the soup at the very end, and that gives it a little bit of extra oomph and makes it a little bit thicker and a little bit sweeter. You can find creme fraiche in the dairy case. Some stores don't carry it at all. It's kind of a hard item to get. It's usually near the sour cream. If you don't have creme fraiche, you can use sour cream instead, but it just won't have that extra special kick that the creme fraiche gives it. So we'll do that last, after the soup cooks here for about 8 minutes. So here's my creme fraiche. Unfortunately, mine froze in my cooler. It usually has the consistency of sour cream, but the cooler was too cold and mine kind of froze up, but I don't think it's going to matter. So you take 2 tablespoons of the creme fraiche and add it to your soup. And I'll go ahead and do that now. So there's the creme fraiche. You mix that in. It also kind of lightens up the soup a little bit, makes it not quite so dark red. And that's pretty much it. I had to guesstimate on the 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche because mine was frozen, but you won't have that problem. Or just use sour cream. But the creme fraiche is it's a little bit richer, and it's more expensive too, by the way. So whatever works for you. And that's pretty much the soup. So I'm gonna fry up some bacon and make a couple BLT sandwiches, bacon, lettuce, and tomato, and have those with my homemade tomato soup. So there's the homemade tomato soup and 2 freshly made BLT sandwiches with extra mayo and some iced tea to top it all off. Out here in the middle of nowhere, where it's currently about 99 degrees Fahrenheit, and the sun is starting to set.